What makes a school successful?
Dedicated teachers, strong families, and supportive administration.
What do you believe are some common characteristics of high-performing schools?
Okay, that would be the same as question 1, which is dedicated teachers, strong families, and supportive administration.
What does it mean to have dedicated teachers?
Teachers who know the curriculum, participate in professional development, and try to develop new methods for instructing students in the standards.
What is effective discipline?
I think discipline that the students buy into would be effective, that they believe in, and that's structured, and that they know a teacher's going to follow through. It has some effect, some consequence.
Okay. How do you feel children learn best?
I think they learn best according to what their needs are. I think it's different for every child, so it depends on what their personal needs are.
But is there one instructional technique that stands above the rest? If so, what is it?
I don't think there is. I think every situation is different. Every teacher is different. Some may be great at lecturing, and that's their forte, so they do well at that, and some may not be. They do better at individualized instruction. So I think it just depends on the situation.
How can or should teachers meet the needs of all students? Is that even possible?
I think we can do the best we can. I think we may not always, hit every individual need, but I think if you do a variety of instructional techniques, you can pretty much hit the mark.
Okay. How much does leadership affect a school's success? What is effective leadership?
I think it affects it tremendously. I think you have to have a leader who leads by example, who can get down in the trenches and do the work with you. I think what happens very often today is administration forgets what it's like to be in the classroom, and so they, unfortunately, if they're separated, they think of more and more things for teachers to do to keep us busy, and what they don't realize is we're busy enough meeting the needs of kids. And what was the second part about effective?
What is effective leadership?
I think it is knowing what your teachers are doing every day, being in the room, getting to know the students and their needs too, and families, being a strong advocate for teachers and families.
Okay. Do you feel that good state test scores means a successful school, or do you feel that poor scores mean an unsuccessful school? How important are scores to you?
To the success of the school? Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's one piece of the puzzle, but I don't think it's everything. I think, there's so many aspects of testing that can change how a child achieves on testing. I think, they could have had a fight with a parent that day and it was an off day, or they don't feel well. And so I think it can be one piece of the puzzle, but I think we have to be very careful not to make it the whole, everything that a school's success is based on. I think it has a lot to do with what kids are exposed to. I don't think a school that's necessarily has higher scores is more successful than another school. I think it depends on what your children's needs are, and it's different in every situation.
Okay. How important is home and school relationships to the effectiveness of a school's success?
I think a tremendous amount, and that's one of the things that I had said in the first question was, I think we have to have strong families. I think we have to remember that kids are dealing with all sorts of different things every day in their family life, and they come to school ready to learn or not ready to learn, depending on what's happening at home at night, and I think we have to be sensitive to that.
Okay. Do you think economic status impacts school success? Why or why not?
I do, and I think because of exposure. At some schools, kids get to travel the world. They get to see what's out there. They get exposure to everything, to language and history and culture, and I think we have to level the playing field. I think for kids at lower socioeconomic schools, they don't have those same advantages. I mean, we may have kids at one school who have access to the internet and kids in a lower socioeconomic level who don't, and I think it does affect, just exposure to learning.
Who do you feel plays the largest role in the success of a school?
Maybe the students. How they come, whether they come ready to learn, how they're being supported by their families, what their attitude is toward learning. Again, I think it's a triangle response. I think it's teachers, administration, and kids, but probably the kids. I mean, that's our commodity that we work with. So,
Okay. Please put an order of importance which you feel plays the biggest role in the school's success. Number 1, teachers. Number 2, students. Number 3, parents.
probably students, as I said before. Wow, then teachers, then parents. Although it's tough. I mean, I think, parents have such an important role of making sure kids, their home life is successful and that is stable and caring and loving. Because I think without that, if a child comes to school and they're worried every day about what's happening at home, it's really hard for them to learn. So probably students, parents, then teachers.
Okay. And finally, how do you feel we can make Copper Candy more successful?
Wow, I think we're pretty successful as we are. I think, gosh, it's really hard. I think we do try to give kids exposure. I think technology is part of that. I think, a lot of our kids have exposure at home to technology, but I think, project-based learning and more exposure to the world in terms of, if we can do that through technology, that would be great. But I think other than that, we're very successful. We have dedicated teachers. We have a good administration, and they're supportive, and I think we're doing a really good job.